using LTI to your advantage. The presenters include Dr. Brian Endfinger, the Director of Program Success at National University, Dr. Sam Jennings, an Associate Professor at Radford University and an Instructional Designer at National University, and Evan Murphy, the Partnership Success Manager at PACFAC. Our agenda includes 1. What is LTI? Why is LTI such a useful standard for course design? 2. Why use LTI 1.3? Why should we move our tools to the newer standard? 3. What makes LTI work? What are the key components of an LTI setup? 4. We will provide a demonstration. What are the best practices for setting up LTI and how can it be used? And 5. LTI in action. What are authentic uses of LTI to make your content engaging?
Thank you, Vanna, for that introduction, and thank you for attending this session on LTI. We thought it would be appropriate to begin our session, given this day and time, with a little AI technology. Before we jump into the details of LTI, let's set the stage. D2L Brightspace, we are all customers of that learning management system. And while it does contain a lot of useful tools, you cannot accomplish everything that you would want to do in a course by using just native D2L tools. As a matter of fact, if you look at D2L's mission, vision, and value statement, you will see language such as working together, contribute to progress, and of course, collaboration. So how do we accomplish these goals? Well, by using LTI. During this session, we're going to look at several different quotes around innovation and work. So our first one comes from Tom Preston, co-founder of MTV. He said that innovation is taking two things that exist and putting them together in a new way. So obviously that is the definition of LTI. So LTI is learning tools interoperability. So a lot of people misquote this. It's not innovation or integration, although certainly we do innovate and we do integrate systems into each other. But that is what LTI does. It allows two systems, platforms to communicate and form a trust. So LTI is a set of standards created by One EdTech, formerly IMS Global. The standard allows users to access multiple systems and devices in one platform and do so seamlessly and with a high degree of data security. The two systems that are referenced are considered the tool provider. So the external tool is the tool provider, and then the tool consumer would be our courses within the LMS that is utilizing the LTI setup. So the main standards that we have for LTI has been LTI 1.1, 1.3, and LTI Advantage. So that leads us to our next question. What is LTI 1.3? And how do we move our tools to this new standard? So our quote for this section is, most innovation involves doing the things we do every day a little bit better rather than creating something completely new and different. And that's from Darren, the Business Warriors Dojo. So LTI 1.3 is built around a security framework and also JSON. These provide encryption and message signing to provide a very secure and robust experience. LTI 1.3 was needed because of better security. And now that LTI 1.1 has been deprecated, so it was encouraged that everyone move to the new LTI 1.3 format. LTI Advantage is a additional layer of the 1.3 security framework. It provides names and role provisioning so that you can seamlessly have students, faculty move from one system to the other with login information and roles. Assignment and grade services, so that actually is so that the grading from one system can be passed over seamlessly to the other system. And then deep linking of content into the courses so that someone doesn't have to go outside the LMS to view certain types of content. So what makes LTI work, and what are the key components? Our quote from here is not necessarily on innovation, but one of my favorite quotes. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. And that, of course, that's President John F. Kennedy. And so I wanted to show this because we use a lot of LTI setups in our institution at National University. We have 2 LMI administrators that work to put the information into the courses. So the setups are not exactly easy, and there's a lot of detailed information that needs to be added to create the setups, but we feel that it is worth doing this because it provides a lot of engaging content into our courses that we would not have otherwise. So the key components of an LTI setup, you have to register the tool first, and then you would deploy it. So to register a tool, here is the information that you would need from the tool provider. So the domain, which is the unique identifier of the website where your tool and content is stored. The redirect URL, which is a specific URL that will get you to the page needed to access the tool content. The OpenID Connect URL, which initiates the secure authentication protocols and the user login. The key set URL is the URL that initiates the JSON web token signature and verification process. So all of that is in place to make sure that the data is secure and that there's a seamless integration between the external tool and the LMS. Optional settings, you can also have the extensions for the role provisioning, the grade services, and the deep linking. Also the role, some tools require to make sure that they know if that is a student or faculty clicking the link so that they can then give them the correct content. So faculty may see grading screens where students would see the assignment screens and completing the assignments. And then any other substitution or custom parameters that are required by the external tool. So there could be things that are required, such as IDs or specific page numbers that may get them to the correct content. So after you put this information in and register the tool consumer issues the following. So the client ID, the key set URL, all these pieces of information, including the user, the issuer, is provided so that you can then plug that into your deployment information. So after you receive this information and you go to the next part of the setup, and it's the deployment screen. You input that information, and you also provide the following information, like a name, which is just a proper name for the tool that's being used, the extensions that you want to use, which is the same as mentioned before, the security settings, so anything that is required or that you require as a security setting, you would need to check those boxes. And then the tool availability, which is limiting the tool to specific areas in your LMS. So you can limit it to specific courses, to specific programs in your LMS. So now we're going to dive into a demonstration of an LTI and how you launch it and what are the best practices for setting up LTI and how it can be used. So our quote for this section is, if the only tool you have is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail. So that's basically saying, you know, we have now more than just a hammer. We have all kinds of tools that we can utilize in our LMS because of utilizing LTI. And so we don't have just the ability to hammer a nail, we have other tools that can be provided. And so now we are going to go into the demonstration portion. And so just to brief talk about, these are the things that you can actually do in an LTI. So of course, deployment of external tools, deployment of specific content. So if you have something in a course that you want to provide in another course, you can do that. Modularization of content from one course to another, which means you can take portions of a course. So if you have one or more modules of content that includes multiple pages, you can package that up and provide it as an LTI. You can deploy a whole course from one LMS to another, and you can deploy a tool from one LMS to another. So this helps institutions that may have multiple instances of a LMS, and also helps external tool providers who may build their tool in maybe one LMS and then create an LTI setup so that it can be added to whatever LMS you're using at your institution. So now we are going to turn it over to Sam, and he is going to demo an actual LTI. Sam? Hey, Sam, you're muted.
Thank you, Brian. As Brian mentioned, you can create an LTI tool in another LMS platform. It could be the same LMS platform, but a separate instance, or it could be a different LMS entirely. So in this case, I created a course in Moodle 4, and Brian and I deep linked this course into our instance. So we were the tool provider, and we are the consumer of this tool. And so basically, as Brian mentioned, you could do different different types of content. You can do, and for example, an EPUB file or an activity, a SCORM file. We did the entire course for this LTI tool. So I'll show you how that works. So basically, this is one of our courses. This is a sandbox course. And again, this is a Moodle LMS external learning tool. It was converted to LTI 1.3. And this is kind of how this would work with role provisioning and grade services and all the things that were mentioned earlier. So we click on the external tool link and then open the tool from a different window. And now we're in another LMS. So this is Moodle. These are SCORM files or simulations. I'll just go through a brief simulation assessment, and I'll talk about how the grades pulled over with the grade services. So the grade's now pulled over into the tool and simultaneously pulled over into the consumer LMS. So that's basically, you know, what it would look like if you would build your own tool and you could add different content. So in this case, again, we use a scoring package. It was a software simulation. So for the next step in the presentation, we're going to look at vendor-related LTI integrations from PackBack. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Evan.
Okay. We're going to go back to our presentation for just briefly. So this is going to be our LTI in action. What are our authentic uses of LTI to make your content engaging? Our quote for this section. So Maya Angelou, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And so our presentation is built around the fact that we want to extend to everyone that look for creative ways to add content to your courses. There are all kinds of external tools out there. There are, you know, creative content that you can maybe have in one course that you want to provide in another course. And so you don't have to be limited. You can certainly use LTI to your advantage to provide this in any course that you have at your institution. So we're going to move on. And so Evan is going to talk about her product at this time.
Hi. So yeah, PackBack is an AI-powered discussion and writing tool that can be adopted by institutions to boost student success, improve writing skills, and increase retention rates. We have 3 tools. Our award-winning discussion board, which is what I'll highlight for a moment today. A writing tool that helps grading for instructors, but also gives students instant feedback on rubric criteria. And then Instruct, which is just engagement tools that instructors can use. Go ahead and just click to the next. So PackBack, all of the tools can be embedded within D2L, as well as any other LMS. So this screen kind of shows you what we look like while embedded into a D2L course. And then on the right-hand side, you can see what the PackBack platform actually looks like. So on PackBack questions, students are accessing us through the LMS. So it opens in a new window, sort of like Sam just showed, but students will do their discussion assignments within the PackBack interface. PackBack is rooted in self-determination theory and Bloom's taxonomy and pushes students to root their discussion questions in curiosity, figure out what they're interested in from that week's content, and ask a question that relates to that. Our AI coaches students to become better question askers, increasing their engagement with the course material while also improving their literacy skills, because as they're typing, they're getting instant feedback on the side of the screen as well. That is essentially what PackBack questions is at a high level. I will quickly jump in and show what the tool looks like in real time now. So on the screen, you can see a PackBack community that is just basically the same word as a course. As I scroll through, these are all student asked questions. So they're going in, finding something that interests them from the course material, again, that week or from that module or however the course is set up, and asking a question related to that. When students go to ask a new question, you'll be able to see, or they'll be able to see instant feedback on the right-hand side of the screen. So here's an example. They're being coached on key academic behavior, like curiosity, credibility, communication, and convention. And really the purpose here is to coach them on, academic skills, but also save instructors time grading. Discussions can be extremely time consuming. So if we can coach them on areas that are, kind of red pen type corrections and give instructors time back to give feedback on content, that's a win. So that is PackBack at a high level. Again, this can be integrated into D2L or any other LMS. I'm going to pass it back to Brian now.
Okay, thank you, Evan. So that is basically our presentation for today. We just wanted to share with you how we use LTI at our institution, why we think LTI is a great way to share content, and a couple of actual uses of LTI within the course. So here is our contact information. So if you're interested in learning more about PackBack, certainly contact Evan Murphy at this email address. And if you need ask any questions of myself or Sam, here's our contact information. So thank you for attending our session today. We hope you have seen this as something very useful and know a little bit more about LTI. So thanks everyone and enjoy your day.